you gotta do. Make
How
it
do you
look
feel,
nice.
man? How's
Buddy,
that seat?
I love it. I can tell that I'm closer to the ground on this end than you are.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
But now that it's funny because like the flexibility has allowed for it to be eye level.
That's
kind
fun. You
of
think they
worked out.
planned
Huh?
that?
Maybe. Yeah. Like it's ideal for like the average weight
Right.
citizen or some shit like that.
Yeah. Like they do it per.
They're like anyone lighter will come up higher and anyone heavier will go down lower, and they'll all meet in the.
They'll all meet in
That's
the middle.
advanced seating engineering. Huh?
They're equality chairs, so nobody's above anybody else.
Yo, by the way, welcome back to the immigrant section. Okay. My guest today is my good friend Marc-Anthony. What are you saying, bro?
Not much, man. This is great. Thanks for having me, bro.
Of course, bro.
Awesome.
You at total like perfect immigrant section move. The guy shows up with his brother, goes, "Hey, listen, look, my bros, I got some stuff to do. Can my bro just kind of chill here for a sec?" I'm like, that's the funniest thing
I felt bad, man. I forgot
I've ever
Starbucks aren't
seen.
open.
That reminds me of my youth. You know, when you had to play with like your brother and you had to leave in the summer together.
Exactly.
So whatever you did, he just have to be lingering around.
Yeah, your mom's like, take your brother with you. You're like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is my brother. Don't worry, he's just gonna be like on this.
Yeah. And then he goes home. I saw Mark.
Yeah,
use
right.
Fireworks on a frog. I don't know that. Whatever. You know what
And
I
then
mean?
his friend sold crack cocaine.
Yeah.
Mark, what?
They were doing drugs. They lit a forest on fire.
Mom, it wasn't my crack cocaine.
Is that the stuff we used to do as kids? You know.
Man, remember how much more dangerous it was?
Yeah.
I mean, and I imagine kids who grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it's even to a whole different level.
Oh, for sure.
But when I was a kid, fire was easily accessible.
Oh yeah.
Like we used to. The first time I found porn was like 7 behind a dumpster when they had porn like trading cards.
And like yeah.
You know, in
yeah.
like the in the Pokemon sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just found a binder and we're just girls legs open, bush. So we're like, oh, it's like,
Oh, dude, I'll never forget. My buddy had a set of playing cards.
Yeah.
That are like naked girls on the front. And he'd be like, "Yo, come check this out." And we'd have to like go in his basement, close the doors, and like we'd be going through the whole deck of cards. Like, these are my dad's, and we're like, "Oh shit,
dude, those are always the times someone wants to borrow. Can I borrow one?
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Can I borrow the ace of spades? She's hot, bro. Like, she's fucking hot. You know.
Dude, I knew you were into black chicks. Man, what have you been up to this COVID?
Bro, honestly, just living off post-CERB, you know?
Hell yeah. Thank you. Shout out to Trudeau.
Thank you, brother.
We accept your bounty and we ask for more.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Because when August ends, you know, wake me up when September ends. It's going to be brutal, man. It's going to be brutal.
What do you think it's going to be work-wise for you?
I don't know. I'm hoping to just jump right back into the swing of things. But, like, you know, with booking, you know, people are a little bit apprehensive to book comics to do shows. And we don't know where it's going to go if there's a second wave and indoor, outdoor. And it's weird.
It could go any direction. It could literally be nothing for the rest of the year.
Yeah. The only good thing that I've noticed with like this little like phase 3 coming in is the like people are willing to book, you know, a week, 2 weeks out. Like usually we're on like a, you know, we got to book 3 months out, 2 months out, things like that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like
yeah,
a few
keep it
bars.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, well, you know, we don't know what next month brings. So let's do next week. Can you do next week? And like, there's no real promoting because everyone's just dying to get out.
Yeah.
So
Every
whoever's
day
around.
you could find out you can't do this shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. What about you?
Man, same exact thing.
Yeah.
And we're both content creators, so I know we've been doing the same little hustle like, oh, let's come up with funny ideas.
Yeah.
Make funny videos, try to take advantage of this Trudeau paying for us to make funny shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm
Let's
just
try
like,
to take advantage of that.
yeah, I've always wanted someone to fund me.
And that's rap. It's been nice though, right?
Yeah,
It's been nice.
Yeah.
You put out a lot of shit. I put out a lot of shit.
Yeah.
What I think, you know what's funny? I think if you look at like 2-3 years from now, if you look at like your portfolio of what you've created and put out on the internet, there's just going to be such a massive spike during COVID.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that was COVID. Yeah. So
They're like, oh, okay, let's see how creative you were being sheltered inside. And, you know what I mean? I feel like there's going to be like the higher your creativity was being sheltered, like the better you are. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
more serious they take you, like, man, because people, dude, I know tons of people that like it was killing them. Like 3 weeks inside, they're like, buddy, I'm going insane. I'm like breaking walls. I'm just hitting shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, same here, man. I was never a walker.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people walk. I never walked before COVID. Now I'm a walker, bro. You just found you in the car with your brother. I was on a walk.
That's true.
I told you to come at 12:30. He's parked 12:25. Military time. I love it. And he's like, oh hey. I'm like, I'm on a walk, bro. It's COVID.
Yeah, you're like, I told you 12:30. I have 5 minutes left on my walk.
Bro. Exactly, right. Like, I'm still on break.
Yeah.
Man, but seriously, I always misunderestimated the power of walks.
Oh yeah, I mean, dietitians have been telling me,
have been urging.
People have been telling me to walk forever because it's low impact. You can do it way longer, and you know what I mean. So, yeah, man, that step counter on my phone is just an all-time high.
Actually, you've been walking like crazy.
Oh, like crazy, man. That's all. I try to walk, but when I wake up and before I go to bed, you know what I mean. Kill excess energy, you know what I mean?
Do you come up with funny ideas on the walk a lot?
Well, honestly, I try to legit. I know this is gonna sound crazy. I try to get into arguments with my girl on the phone.
Okay.
Because it gets me fired up, and then I'll walk way faster and way longer, and then I can't get off the phone until we've like settled the debate.
Yeah.
I know that sounds absolutely nuts,
but you totally forget about the walking part because you're so honed in on what's happening.
Yeah, and like people are just like, this fucking guy's walking and yelling again. You know what I mean? Like I'm yelling in a park or some shit.
You're like at the end, you're like, God, I love you. I just did 10,000 steps.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. That was 11K. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
What kind of shit do you argue? How long have you been in this relationship?
Like 6 years. We're engaged. I was supposed to get married in like a month. Had to move that to next year. So,
You're not doing one of these drive-by car weddings?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We need to fuck now.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. My nonna just flies by in a pickup.
That's only immigrants or like aggressive cultures would do those drive-by weddings.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yo, we need to seal this in now.
Oh, dude. Both my grandparents on like her side, my side are just like, you guys have got to do it now. What the fuck?
Right?
Get it done.
What will people think, right? Like,
And then they're like, well, you got to have kids, so you got to get married now. And I'm like, buddy, what year is it, man?
It's Arabs, I know, because I'm Sudani.
Yep.
And as Sudani, we pretty much raised in Arab culture. Like North Sudan is like Arabic speaking. The way it works with Arabs is that you pretty much go through the family and friend network. Your mom goes through, and then your mom either from what I've seen, a lot of guys I know when they go to weddings, they're on the lookout because girls dress really nice in the weddings and guys dress really nice. So everyone's kind of looking for bride.
Of course.
That's literally how it is. And I don't know how it is with the Italians.
It's the exact same thing.
The exact same thing.
Oh, buddy. You got to see my some of my cousins and my brothers, like they're all single. Right?
Yeah.
I'm the only lucky one, as my nonna says. And like, dude, every time we all meet up, my nonna will be like, so you remember your aunt from, she lives up in Aurora? Yeah, she's got a granddaughter too, same age. She's a fucking single. What are you doing? I can set it up. We can go.
They're always playing matchmaker.
Oh, always. It's crazy.
Dude, I'm not fortunate enough to have had grandmas like in my older life in this country with me.
Right.
But that's literally kind of from that generation and those cultures, those like old style traditional cultures, that becomes their role later in life. It's like, let's see, like I'm dating a Serbian girl.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Very intense.
Yeah.
I used to work with Serbians for years. Great people.
And like on my mom, this is like very strange. She did not expect this to happen at all. This was not, she's like, what? You know what I mean? Like she's like trying to like piece it all together. Because like they really think, okay, like she was really thought 9 out of 10. It seems to me that like he'll be marrying a Sudanese girl.
Right.
Probably by now he've already been married on his first kid. Kind of like, they really expect this very traditional trajectory of what you're going to do. And then now she's like, oh, Serbian? Well, she's not Muslim. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, dude. Because the religion is the thing that like, that's the thing that fucks everything.
Everything up.
It's like, they're not on our team? What?
Yeah.
They're Leafs fans? They're not a fucking... They're a Canadians fan? Oh, fuck. Oh, this isn't going to work. You know what I mean? It's literally so tribal.
I don't get it. Like, when you try to explain it to them, they don't get it either.
They're like, what about the kids?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
My grandmother was like, I was 19 when I had your mother. And I'm like, that must have been awful.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was 12. Oh my God.
And I was like, but it's just different. I honestly, dude, I fully believe like between that generation, like, you know, our grandparents and us is like the furthest gap of generations that you could ever have.
You're right.
In terms of growth.
You're
you know
right.
What I mean? Like,
but
sorry, go ahead.
So far, I think so. But watch our grandkids. Watch that be even more exponential.
I can't imagine. There's no way, like, because you know what I mean? You go from them where it's like, it's world wars, it's walking to school in these fields, and like you're up at 5. Like,
you're right. Now it's Amazon Prime and SpaceX.
Right?
2 hour.
Like, dude, my grandparents didn't even finish elementary school. Like, they talked to me, they're like, yeah, you know, we have grade 3. I've got grade 2. I've got grade 5. And you're like, oh, well, that's why you got married at 19, because you had grade 3.
You were out of school for 12 years.
Exactly.
Trying to date. You had a lot of time.
You left grade 2 and they're like, yo, I just graduated high school. You know?
It was a different time, man.
Different times.
And then we were talking about this upstairs. You look and it's like, part of me wants to think, yeah, but we code and we have software and we're a smarter, our millennials are smarter than they were at that age. But what you forget to think about is like, what if flooding happens? What if an asteroid comes? What if something comes that takes us off of the grid that we're so dependent on?
Yeah.
Then suddenly people like your grandpa and grandpas out there suddenly go to the top of the fucking ladder as far as usability.
Oh, of
they
course.
have the skills that they have like gained with their hands throughout their life.
Oh, for sure.
Is probably like 8 of us. If the internet, if everything went down right now and we had to, and a huge hole ripped through the drywall, framing, masonry, everything, and out of the chunk of a house, it would take how many of people like you and me to fix that?
Yeah, we'd be like, we need a YouTube video of an old Italian guy figuring out how to do this.
Literally, and it could be just your grandpa fixing it himself. Slowly but surely does it right.
He does that now.
We don't even know. Exactly. And then do the electrical or some shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
It's crazy. It's like they're the best pioneers ever. And if we went into like the Stone Age, they'd be the best.
They'd be the best. Exactly. They have those fundamental skills that we all take so for granted.
Yeah.
We assume there's no scenario we're going to be forced to fix our own house.
Well, I feel like...
Or make our own clothes.
It's a catch-22, right? Because then it's just like, well, what's your email password? And they're like, what?
Yeah,
you know what
exactly, right?
Exactly. It sucks that we're so technology dominant as like, you know what I mean? The younger it gets, it's just like inside, online, nothing else. And if you take out online, I think people get fucked. They don't know what to do.
The people that grew up entirely in that world.
Yeah.
With games and, you know, every form of online involvement.
Yeah.
Whether it's social media, games, MMORPG, fucking RuneScape, everything, like every step they're in it fully. It's hard to see what the real world is, right?
Oh, for sure.
And I was in that too. I was telling you upstairs that my dad was never handy.
Right.
So I never grew up handy. Anytime there was a problem, I was always afraid to tackle it because I have other friends if something broke, they'd want to take it apart. But I always had the fear, like, what if I fuck up on the take apart process? Yep. Or what if I lose a part? Or what if I don't put it back? I'm thinking about all the negatives, right?
Right, yeah.
And then I grew up and, you know, I did the engineering degree.
Yep.
And I left engineering and then I'm just doing comedy. Suddenly, now that it's very appeasing for me to do things with my hands, so I ripped my fucking side mirror on my car.
Nice.
And I ordered a new one, and I do all these little tinkering things myself because I worked in the automotive industry.
Oh, nice.
And I realized everything is set up to be as easy. The people, the techs who are doing these are not geniuses. They're trained people trained to do something. And 90% of the jobs are remove and replace. When you take a fucked up car on lease or whatever into your dealership, they're not trying to troubleshoot and fix the part. They just want to replace the part.
Right.
Because they got to make the money to build the original. It's all about money. There's no money in, let's fix it.
Right. Yeah. Like that's why there's auto body shops who just run people through the coals.
Yeah. Because they're like, it needs it all new.
Yeah. And then they just replace bumpers and
And having watched those people, I realized, dude, just get on YouTube. Like anything on your car is just 12. Like any one thing you want to switch in your car is always just like 11 or 12 steps. You do forward and then you reverse it to put it back.
Yeah. I think you're seeing a lot of people like during the quarantine, people who, people who aren't online all the time and their jobs are like at a halt. You're seeing all those people like kind of go back in time and adopt these skills. Like, for example, everybody I know, like, that sourdough craze for me anyways, like learning how to cook things from scratch and all this kind
I've been seeing your videos.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And like learning, people like are just building shit, like and
human
learning
basic,
how to exactly
fundamental like knowledge and skills.
Yeah, like the amount of people I know that are like in banking and stuff like that during this quarantine, if they're working from home, they're like, yeah, I don't know, I just started taking up woodworking. I've always wanted.
Hell yes.
Right? And like you're seeing people when they're given this free time that want to kind of get those essentials back because, we grew up in a time where you're like, okay, you didn't have the opportunities we had, speaking from a grandparent point of view. They're like, so you got to go to school. You got to get the degree and go that route.
And A and B and C, yeah.
Exactly, right? So you don't exactly have...
And now you have a stop. We would have never seen this coming. It has been March, April, May, June, July. It has been almost 6 months now of just halt.
Nothing.
And the government has been paying, the Canadian government, God bless, has been paying all the citizens who lost work and can prove it, $2,000 a month. This is unforeseen, bro. It's like, it's literally crazy. It's like everything stopped. And what's fun, I told you I was walking around my neighborhood and I ran into Rush, the comedian in Toronto.
Yep.
And she's walking her dog and looks healthy. And I'm like walking in the sun. And I realized, man, COVID's been the best thing for comedians. We are a depressed bunch. Look at us just in the sun right now. She's smiling, walking her dog. I'm just taking a walk to get vitamin D. Yeah. I'm like, this has been the healthiest thing that's probably happened to a lot of people.
Honestly, I think that's why I think like a lot of people...
Ironically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it. I honestly think a lot of comedians either... won't be doing comedy the same way that we're doing it or won't be doing it at all, or like their approaches and their point of views are different now since COVID, because like obviously we're just left with our thoughts. And if you're not a guy who's putting out videos and stuff like that,
exactly,
like I know tons of comedians who don't
haven't adjusted up.
Yeah,
there's been no adjustment,
no online adjustment at all, so they're just sitting there going, okay, who am I actually?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're just like, oh shit.
And us and me and you were like, fuck that question videos.
Yeah, you're like, I know what I got to throw out there to avoid that question. You know?
I'm on the gas. Fully.
Yeah, I know who I am. Gas. Let's just keep going here.
Bill Burr was on Rogan and he was talking. I don't know if you listened to the most recent.
I did. Yeah.
He was really in his head about breaking down a lot of his little fundamental little issues he has that he hasn't really had a chance to think about. And think about it, I'm like, this is my going into 5th year of stand-up. Having this happen. For him, it's like 29 years of gas. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa. I want to make sure not to rush right back into I'm going to be doing stand-up regardless. I just want to make sure not to rush right back into the format that I thought was the format before COVID. Right. Because now with COVID, now I'm like, should I be going out 6 nights a week, or should I be going out 5 nights a week making 2 videos? Should I be going out 4 nights a week making 4 videos? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Now the balance has shifted.
Absolutely. And I honestly think you see I gotta stop saying I honestly think. I think I've said that 15 times.
Yeah. I'm now thinking all the other times were dishonesty. Is he about to lie? He hasn't given a disclosure. This is honest, right?
100%.
Okay.
All honesty. 100% honesty. I do think that what you're seeing globally and individually is the exact same thing that's happening during COVID. Like you're seeing a lot of, big social issues and big issues that the whole world needs to address. And then you're seeing down on an individual level, everyone's having to address their own issues, being like, okay, what do I actually want to say? What do I actually want to do with my time? How do I actually want to use my platform? And that's just becoming like everyone's just having this like, okay, is this how the world is? Because
it's like a renaissance.
Exactly, right? Especially, with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's like, we're seeing like, okay, this is fucked up. We have to do something about this. We need to adjust.
People are at home angry with time on their hands.
Exactly.
They can be at that protest Monday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not at the office or whatever, right?
So you get to see how people actually feel about, global issues. And then we take a step back and we sit at home and go, okay, now about ourselves, what can we do differently, like stand up, like you're saying, right? Like, how can we adapt and how can we evolve? And I think it's forcing everybody to evolve individually and obviously collectively, and see how we can actually progress. Like you're saying, Bill Burr, fuck, this guy's like looking back on his old material and being like, I wish I could get rid of that shit. You know what I mean, right? It's crazy because I feel the same way about myself. I'm like, I'm going to have to jump back into stand-up and still do my old stuff, but I don't want to do it. But I'm going to have to to keep the ball rolling.
I've done 4 shows, live shows so far, and it's been just that.
Just your old
telling
stuff.
my old material, doing a couple Black Lives Matter jokes. That was in the middle going, that was hot for a minute, and I'm like, fuck, for 80% of it, it's the old stuff. I'm like, I'm not really feeling that much anymore, but I haven't had stage time to work on anything else.
Yeah, you can't work on the new voice you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I've changed. I'm dude, it's so funny as a comedian to just be like, telling your old stuff kind of broken and slow because you're remembering it, and just also wanting to be like, I'm better and I'm different.
Yeah, you're like,
I want you to know it, but not.
But you're like, but the world needs us to make them laugh, so I'm gonna do my old shit because I know it works.
Yeah, it's gonna be rusty. But keep in mind, I have changed during COVID. Yeah. This isn't gonna reflect any of that though. Not yet. Crazy. I need time. I'm just afraid that a lot of people go right back into the rat race, and I think it really will be. Like people, it's not like we're gonna have some collective revolution of thinking. I would love to think that, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on one part of me thinks it is happening, but that's because I'm so intertwined with this artistic community.
Right.
So I'm in like what is it called? Like an echo chamber of, I'm like, look, it's happening all, but in the grand scheme of things, not really. I feel like as soon as jobs start hiring, people are just going to swarm back in because people have mortgages, rent, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like the system has to keep going.
Yeah. Money's the root of all problems. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, how many times we got to see this where it's like, look at CERB. Everyone gets money and they're like, now I get time to do the things that I've wanted to do and focus my time on that. And then everyone becomes better individuals. Like, I don't know if like you said, going on walks, all of a sudden I'm talking to my neighbors. I'm like, fuck, I've lived here for 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't even know your fucking name, right? And like, now we all have time. Everyone's
now I know
nicer.
For sure I don't hate your guts. Now I know you're a prick. I used to just speculate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like now
I think
nicer.
It might be difficult, man, for Canada to get people to start working again. You've been mouth feeding them for 6 months.
Yeah.
Bro, at the beginning of COVID, this is hilarious. I heard that COVID gives you like pneumonia. It floods your lungs and you die from that, right? From what I understand. For all the people in the know, please don't rip apart the headphones. Actually, okay, but anyways, so fluid starts going hard in your lungs, right?
That sounds brutal.
And sounds horrendous. I think is that what bronchitis is, or that's what pneumonia is fluid in the lungs.
I don't know.
I don't know either way. But the point is that's what ends up fucking you.
Right.
So I was hearing one doctor on some interview like in April. He's like, a lot of these patients that are deep in it, like you could put them on oxygen machines. But if you take the work off the lungs, they will not kick back into place. You'll kill them if you put them on the breathing machine because the lungs need to always be flexing and working. If you take all the work off the lungs, they're going to die.
Right.
So I think that's I'm wondering if the same thing is going to happen with Canada. Like 6 months of us getting money in our pockets, and now they're like, all right, no more money, work now. Yeah. Let's see how that turns.
Yeah,
I'd like
to
see that
man.
transition.
It's going to be crazy. Like, it's coming up. Like, it's like once September hits, right?
Do you think they'll extend it again? Can they?
Bro, if they extend it again, I'm telling you, I am going to buy a fucking PS4.
Bro.
Or whatever. I don't know.
I have paid off almost all of my credit card debt with CERB money. Literally almost all of it, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trudeau, dude. I'm like... You're cooking at home, saving all that money of eating out.
Yeah. You know what it is, too? It's because there's no expenses happening, right? Like, there is, but what
always doing shit is what costs money, right?
Exactly, right? I don't mean expenses. I just mean, like, I'm not going out. I'm not eating out. I'm not traveling. There's no external costs coming through. So it's like the money I'm getting is just...
It's all coming in.
Yeah, it's all coming in, and it's all going to debts or just sitting there. So... I think we all needed this.
Yeah, I think, and I think this is a lesson for a lot of people that I learned the hard way, like a couple years back, was that I was so focused for years on maximizing my income,
Right.
And I never focused on minimizing my expenses.
Right.
I just kept going. I'm going to chase the higher hourly rate or chase the higher salary. And then your life steps up proportionally every time, right?
Yeah,
now you get the new job and you get the raise. Now I'm going to get I'm gonna get the summer wheels for the car for $3,000 for no reason, just because you have the money. Now I'm gonna put Pilot Super Sports on the car.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not racing. You're still on fucking Eglinton. You know what I mean?
The construction never stops.
But you have the money so you always. That's how. But once I went full comedy, no engineering, there really was no money. I'd MC weddings here and then. I do a little delivery, this and that. I realized, dude, get what you can afford. If you get what you can afford and minimize your monthly expenses, the idea, you don't even have to work full time.
Yeah.
You don't have to work full time. It's like it's not about like trying to switch or exchange every hour of your life for the most amount of money.
Right. There's a term for that. I think it's called oh God, I saw this the other day. I think it's called like
a cheap fuck. Imagine.
No. I mean for like, it's like a syndrome almost. It's like the poor rich man, where it's like you elevate in income, so you elevate your expenses, so you still live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, it just grows proportionally. Yeah, the more you make, the more you spend.
Exactly. So like, I can afford a helicopter, so I'm gonna buy one, even though I don't need one.
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm always still chasing
because
money.
Now you're in the neighborhood with the guy with 3 helicopters. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You moved up, you left the neighborhood, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And it's tough to stick to this because I'm like I'd like to think like ideally, like I could, if I am very comfortable financially at some point, I can still just have an apartment and like get this or that. But then it's like you realize if you like are in a relationship and you have a family, there's an expectation to always remain comfortable. Yeah. And the concept of comfort changes with money.
Oh, of course. And I even think, the concept of success is, especially with us in entertainment, that is a different expectation. And that is a different expectation of how much money you make. And all that correlates to success. And if you've made it or not made it, it's like, it's crazy, man. Like for me personally, anyways, it's like, I've always had that goal of like, I just want to get to the point where I don't have to be like, I really want to do this, but I can't because I don't have enough money to.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, and
the financial worry, that background financial worry.
Yeah, or like if I have a kid and my kid wants to play hockey or soccer and I can't afford to do what they want to do or whatever. I got to sell a car to...
Just being limited.
Exactly.
And not trying to do anything above and beyond and glamorous.
Yeah.
Just trying to live like an honest life and trying to have fun and have real experiences. You're not trying to put diamonds on your fucking calf. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
I know exactly what you mean,
like, man. You're trying to... You need $1,000 to put your kid in the league when money's already tight. Like, all that type of shit, right? I'm in the same boat. I want to have financial freedom for not just for me, though, but also for my direct family.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of room. Like, if you grew up generationally and like for generations your family tree, they all had like careers and stuff, you have a much bigger safety net than my family has, because we came here in 97 with no other family. So we are just us. We have no cousins in the country.
Okay, so all of your extended family
is in like throughout the world, 90% Sudan.
Okay.
And then some Australia, some England, some blah, 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 blah. A couple in Tennessee, but none in Ontario. Not one, you know? So we've been like really leaning on the other Sudanese community. Right. But now in older age, where everyone's kind of just fucks off, like even when you get older, you still see your aunt, you still see your cousins, you still see... I don't have any of that here. Yeah. So it's like... I really feel that burden because I had a good paying career. Right. And I was supporting. Right. And I continue to support, but obviously not to the same degree. Mm-hmm. But I was like, so I have something in me that goes, I'm letting him down. But really, you got to live your own life. You know, you can't feel all this weight of everybody. But at the same time, my goals are financial freedom for me and to be able to help them just get like comfort in life. I'm not trying to get my mom a Ferrari. Right. I just want her to get a brand new CRV or a RAV4. Get her a nice RAV4, 4-wheel drive, summer tires, winter tires.
Cooling seats.
Yeah, exactly. Reverse camera. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get a mansion.
Right.
just a place where the landscaper comes and like cuts the thing. Just comfortable.
Yeah, just
that's all. And whatever I need to achieve that level of financial comfort for the family is when I'll know I've hit my success.
The generational wealth, what you're talking about.
Exactly. Like, generational wealth. I'm more so concerned with helping them now.
You want to help the ones
than like
before
trying to make sure my kids are born rich or you know what I mean? I'm really trying to be like. Because my mom is still till this day. When I was working as an engineer, I leased her a Kia Soul.
Nice.
It was her first time with a new car. She'd been having fucking old Chevy Cavalier, a fucked up Corolla. My dad's cheap. He always buys cheap cars.
Yeah, no, same.
That they're at the mechanic every month. And you're spending the price of a lease every month. You know it, right? The immigrant cycle.
Dude,
you buy a cheap car and you're constantly in the shop because you're saying, fuck lease, fuck finance, I'm paying cash.
I feel like you're like Google right now and you heard my conversation with my dad like 3 days ago. That's fucked up. I'm like, the amount of money you spend on paying the mechanic because you bought a used car to save $1,000. You know, my grandfather always said, he's like, we're too poor to buy cheap. You know what I mean? He's like, because when you buy something that's cheap and shit, you're going to have to keep buying a new one.
Get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to spend the money once on something good that's going to last, and that's it. You
that's smart. No, my dad was, let me look at what I'm spending now. Minimize what I'm paying now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like with
my
house and stuff, he saved properly and everything. But with like gadgets or anything that needed to, is just let me buy the cheapest used one right now, and that's it. I bought the thing I need to buy.
Yeah,
you know.
My dad's
and I grew up in that mentality.
Yep.
So my mom's had fucking constant issues, cars. So the Kia Soul wraps up in 2019. But now I'm like in comedy mode, right?
You're like, Mom, the next lease is on you, all right? I can't fucking be
so
doing
my mom
this.
hasn't been without a car for 6 months. And we just my brother had a 2006 Altima just sitting there. We put a bunch of money into fixing it so we can get up to speed, so we can get her a decent car in a couple months.
Right.
And then this car is just like, he put, changed the struts, changed the brakes, new catback exhaust, a bunch of... the engine compartment relay, like a bunch of stuff needs switched. Put a bunch of money, give it to her. Now it's still fucked. The lights don't work. It's still going to the mechanic. I'm like, fuck. The fact she just had a brand new car for 4 years, dealt with Kia. If any issues happen, go to service.
Exactly. Yep.
And now she's with an 06 Altima. I'm like, so that type of shit pisses me off because now it's like, this is stress she doesn't need to deal with. And it's not about having the money to get her a fucking S-Class, S550. You know what I mean? Just get her a new Camry.
Just something that's not going to cause stress.
I don't want you to ever be stressed that the car will die or any of that stuff.
You know what's funny? I feel like, I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like, you wanting to help your parents, I feel like your parents want you to go that way. Because I've had the same issue, right? Because I don't have kids.
Yeah.
My parents are like, what do you give a shit about helping us for? Like, set yourself up, have kids, help them out. Like, we're fine. I don't need you to help me. Like, with you helping yourself, I don't need to then worry about you, and that helps me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally get that.
Do your parents like tell you like,
my mom
help
never.
me?
Yeah, my mom never asks.
Oh, for
She'll
sure.
Never ask.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, like, does she ever give you shit and be like, why are you helping me? I don't need your help, or I don't want your help. You're my kid, kind of thing. Like, does that ever happen?
Yeah. No, I get that kind of sentiment and vibe.
Right.
Just things were a little tighter where she would never ask, even though it helped.
Right. Yes, of course.
But she wouldn't ask. Yep. And that says the same thing that you're pretty much saying. It's
exactly.
I'm not going to ask you for that because it's like, do you and like support yourself first,
That's
right?
Standard mother right there. Yeah.
Exactly how you feel. I feel good if I get a $2,000 check and I have all my stuff paid. You know what I mean?
Why not help? Yeah.
Yeah. And nothing will make me feel as good as helping my mom or my parents or my family. Yeah. That feeling you get. I don't do it for that feeling, but when you do it and you just... Because when money burns a hole in your pocket sometimes, when you don't want to use it on other people, you're just like accumulating it, and it's like... it just becomes like an evil thing. It's like jizz in your balls when they collect. You know, it's like I gotta
let this out.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna explode.
I'm becoming evil.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. And I think that's good, man. Not a lot of people think like that. Like I
think it's an immigrant mindset.
For sure.
But I've been giving my mom other kids grew up with allowances. As soon as I could work when I was 15, I've been giving my mom money every paycheck.
Of course. And I feel like they don't really understand that because, like the parents anyways, because, you know, like you said, they don't want to ask, you're their kid and they're helping you. And they look at it as like almost an ego. They take it personally almost. As like, oh, I failed or didn't fail, but like I'm not.
The roles are reversed. Yeah.
Exactly.
I should be providing.
Yeah, well, yeah, and when it's from our point of view, it's almost like, well, you raised us, you helped us. Like, if we have money, we're gonna obviously do it back. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, if we can, why not?
I mean, that's what this is all about. Like,
of course,
bro. Every time I go back to London, Ontario, where my family lives, and my sister and her husband, their 2 kids, they live there. They're like the first of the family to start making a little family on the side, which is nice. Now the nest is finally growing a little bit.
Right.
So every time I go back, they're like, my brother-in-law especially, pleading with me to go back to engineering. He's confused what I'm doing. He's confused, bro.
Is he old school, like, mindset?
Yeah, he's like in the middle. He's like 40.
Oh, okay.
He grew up like 29 years in like Sudan and like Saudi, I think he grew up in too, but like he's that mindset. He's like, bro, I have friends in the Khalij, which is like in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Qatar, like making 13,000 a month US, no tax.
Yeah, that's far.
I know. It's amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Are you?
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
On that right now.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Give me his number, bro.
Yeah,
I'm joking. No, that's crazy.
But I'm like, yeah, I get that, but it's like, am I gonna go to the desert right now where there's like, there's no bars, there's no.
Yeah,
it's a totally controlled Muslim living situation unless you're a tourist. But so I'm just there. It's kind of like going to Fort McMurray in Alberta just to pocket money. It's like, fuck that. Yeah, I'm thinking about my life too.
Yeah, you're doing hard drugs because you're like, what the fuck am I doing here?
There's just mad money and nothing to do, right?
Man, I probably get into that argument once a day with a relative of some sort being like,
are your relatives really Italian? Like,
to the max.
Your grandparents were born there?
Grandparents born there, moved here. Some of my family was all like, my dad grew up in Italy and then came over here. But my mom,
they born him here, get the Canadian citizenship, go back.
Yes, that's exactly that's exactly what happened with my dad.
Hustle,
exactly.
They've been doing it for generations.
Yeah, exactly. And like my father-in-law, if you will, even him, like born in Switzerland, got his passport in Italy, then came here, and like, so they're super old school mindset.
Yeah.
And so when you explain to them that money's not the priority.
Yeah. Oh, they short circuit. There's smoke comes out of their ear.
Dude, it's like if we're, especially if the family's like, if we're together and we're drinking or something and you even mention something to do with that, it's like, what do you mean? They just take it as you're lazy. You don't want to work 18 hours. Yeah. You don't want to do 4 jobs.
It's a direct offense.
Yeah. And you're like, no, dude, that's not what life's about.
Exactly. And forget about that. It's like, you guys have put in the groundwork to bring me here, and now I exist in this nest, right?
Yeah.
And now my option, and it's hard for older generations to understand, but my options are different. I can make 10 times what you make with 1/10 of the effort from my house.
Yeah.
If I put in the groundwork, that's an option now. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
they can't just... If you started getting checks from YouTube or whatever, all those questions would fucking disappear. But dude, as soon as the checks start coming in, money talks over anything. Oh, right?
For sure. But when you see, then they just discredit you as what you do. Like
he's just a clown or something like that.
No, a buddy of mine makes killer money. Not a buddy, my cousin's good friend. He's a big Twitch guy. He makes all this money off
Gamer. Yeah.
Buddy, the arguments I've seen where they're just like, you make money on YouTube? Like, that's not real work. And you're like, but bro,
it's real money.
This kid makes like $150K a year in his house. Like, who gives a shit?
Doing the thing that you were like, you're never going to do anything with your life. Stop playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4.
Exactly. And they make big money. He's sponsored. It's like, who gives a shit? He's making money. He's doing what he likes. That's a win-win. But when you explain that to them, they just don't. They don't get it. They're just like, well, no, you have to be a slave to money because that's what we were taught. And you're like, but that's not right. Right? Because that's why you have a drinking problem, or that's why you are crazy, right? Like that's why you
because you putting in because like literally they're still in the I went to Calgary. 12 years ago, 13 years. Oh, what was it like? Maybe 10 years ago, Calgary, had a huge boom. You know this going on. Everyone moved to Calgary, remember? 15 years ago, everyone moved to Calgary because of the jobs. Bro, I went to Calgary like when it was like in the thick of like, come here. No one is from there.
No.
Number one, they're all just talking about hourly rates. Yo, I know a warehouse 26. Oh, I know a fucking 28. And you start, I know a place 31. And they're just all talking money. And then some guy's like, yo, I just put in 60, 20 overtime. Like the brag is
it's a competition,
the hours spent, like the clocked hours being made money that week.
It makes
they're like, whoa, I worked 90 hours this week. Oh, it's almost like when someone says like, oh, you're married. I've been married 20 years. Like in society, there's a pressure to applaud it almost like, oh, I worked 90 hours. It's like, what?
Yeah. Dude, old people do that when they get sick. They compete on who's sicker.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you think your hip is bad? Yeah, I just broke my arm. And you're like, okay. It's not like then you're dead and then who won the contest? Like, what the fuck are you even debating?
Well, I would if I die first.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And they're like, who cares how much money you make if you're depressed or you're not addressing your own mental issues?
Yeah, right.
Right? And then you're like, I think you should see somebody. Like, you ever tell somebody over 55 that they need to see somebody?
No, that's some Italian culture, honesty. Though.
No, try it.
My run me is like, are you crazy? But we don't talk about it.
Okay. Try it, buddy. Yeah. They lose their. They're like, what the fuck is this psychologist going to tell me? What are they going to tell me?
They probably call him shrink for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Fucking shrink.
Yeah, my dad. He's like,
yo, do you have any relatives or anything who think who lean into the mobbiness of being Italian?
Yeah, all of them do. All of them do.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah, my dad doesn't that much just because he's more like, you know what I mean. He's more of a white collar business guy, right?
Yeah.
But all my other relatives, all in construction, they all fucking sound like they're fucking, you know what I mean, trying to strangle like a fucking dog or something. So but when you try and tell them, you're like, listen, I think that you have an illness or like just any problem that you should seek help for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or get professional help. Or
like, what are you talking about? Every bill is paid.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know how much money I have in the fucking bank? And you're like, it's not about that, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But again, I really think, first of all, this is a luxury we have.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
We're living the dream.
And number two is everybody has this option. If it's like whatever it is you do. Yeah. Nice plug for the video. That's a little tidbit for those watching video. Check out the YouTube. It's like whatever you do, if you... Okay, I forgot what I was even going with.
You were saying... fuck.
My God, I'm getting the live numbers. They're going up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, we're live? No.
Yeah.
Like, whatever... There's money in whatever you do, okay?
Yeah, of course.
And like, whatever... But you have to be honest with yourself that it's gonna take years. It's like, I put in 5 years for engineering school, paid $60,000, and then came out and I could get a job that pays more than $60,000, right?
Right. Yep.
And then for a couple, that's the investment.
Yeah, it's self-investment for sure.
That's with the online world, you got to like do a thing and keep doing it for free for a while. You're not gonna pay in university. You pay.
Yep.
Here you don't pay. You pay with just your time. And if you put in the same 5 years that I put into university, the same hours creating content on YouTube for 5 years.
Straight.
I swear, I would have been a YouTube partner years ago. Whatever it is that I like, and I did it consistently, I would be paid probably a living wage by now.
For sure.
And that is way more sustainable than, okay, now I have the degree. Now let me get into the employer. Let me now get into the queue of candidates and beg for the job and try to play within the corporate politics so I can remain here and go up the ladder. Avoid all that stuff, and you just go straight to the market. You do a thing you like, you put it out on the internet, and 2 people follow you every 3 days. And in years, you have a following. Patrice O'Neill said you just need 1,000 people, 1,000 true fans who are willing to pay you $100 a year.
Yeah,
and there's your 100 G's, right?
Yep. Yeah, man. I had a weird discussion a month ago. I'm coming up to 10 years of stand-up in October, and I can't remember who exactly the fuck said this. Anyways, the conversation was, well, you're at 10 years. almost. Like, don't you think it's time to hang it up? And I'm like, I was like, what the fuck?
Do we say that to marriages?
Right? Fuck, I never thought of that.
Yeah, right? That's the shit in the shower. And you're like, fuck, I
son of a bitch. Hey, you remember what we talked about?
Yeah.
You did say that to marriage. Yeah, no, honestly. And I'm like, well, no, now's the time to put the pedal on the gas even harder. Like, now's the time to keep it going. Like, they say 10 years before, I don't know if you listen to Bill Burr or anybody talk about how long.
10 years before your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years before
your 15, he said, or some shit.
Yeah. Like, even you listen to, like, Sebastian Maniscalco, I was listening to him talking. He was saying, like, almost.
Stay Hungry, that book?
Yeah.
I listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like, for people who aren't, and I obviously have non-comedian listeners, it's like, if you're a funny person, you know how it's like being funny around your friends. You make everyone laugh funny. It takes 10 to 15 years to achieve that same level of funny on stage. That same comfort you have of being that funny person on stage, right? Of
course, yeah.
Because, like, I realize, because I'm early, right? I realize that sometimes I'm in such a hurry, so I'll write a bit and I'll try to hone it and I'll try to make it better. But I realize that no matter how good the bit is, the presence you have on stage is a reflection of the years you've put in, regardless. So it's like, you can really, it's like, why can't, it's like, slow down. You got to put in more time and the bit will be better because the years you put in on stage show how you stand there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to, like, circumvent the years by making the joke perfect and something. And you just can't cheat it. There are no fucking shortcuts.
No shortcuts. And, there's I think I heard this on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. I can't remember who said it, but they were like, pretend that it's like when you're born, like when you start anything, right? It's like when you're born, you know what I mean? It's like if you're 10 years in, you're 10 years old, and if you're 5 years in, you're 5 years old. Imagine the things that you knew. Like when you're 15, you're like, fuck, when I was 10, I didn't know shit. Yeah. Right. And so on and so forth. Right. And it's like, going back to the conversation I had, it's like, I try to explain to them, oh, you're someone that was in the NHL. When did they make the NHL? 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there, right?
When they start playing.
Fucking 3 years old, right? Yeah, I'm like, the anomalies start at 10, 12. When a guy made the NHL and he started playing hockey at 13, you're like, this guy's a freak of nature, right? Do you know what I mean? And there are those comedians that have,
gone really quick, gone far really fast.
Yeah, I think of Gerard Carmichael. You remember?
But he put in his 10 years.
He did,
he put in his 10 years before we even knew his name.
Yeah, but that being said, then it went from like 10 years to a TV show and 2-3 specials at like 15 years in.
Absolutely.
Which is like, he went from like,
because he was like a new voice. He was an original voice. He was a new style voice. Yeah. And he put in his 10 years. It's not like he did it in 6.
No, of course. What I mean is
once
just like,
what happens after 10, it's like, I'm not mad or anything, Yeah, if you put in 10 years on anything.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever you get from it, I bow to it, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was blown away by him a lot. I was like, this guy literally went from like, just a regular club headliner to like, Dave Chappelle status.
Did you follow him a lot coming up?
Not a lot, but I remember like when his first special came out, I was like obviously digging in on him more. I'm like, how did this guy just come out of nowhere? And now I know him, and he's got a show, and he's got 2 specials. Like another one's coming out. I'm like, but this guy's fucking turning out like insane material, like insanely good material, like back to back to back. And I've never even heard of him up until now. It doesn't mean he didn't do the work, obviously, but like, and then finding out that he, like, in 10 years, this guy just goes up to here, it's crazy.
What's interesting about him too is I feel like the reason he puts out so much is he has a very slow timed pace.
Oh yeah.
So he takes 30 minutes and makes it an hour. Right.
Yeah. I see what you
but I was a huge fan, and I called it. There was 3 people I called. I used to watch, bro. I've been watching stand up on a daily basis for not anymore, for like years now, but since I was probably 13, 14 till I was like 24, 25 every day.
Wow.
I'd be watching stand up,
wow.
And I caught, before they even popped off back in the day, I called TJ Miller, Gerard Carmichael, and Chris D'Elia.
Wow.
Based on the Laugh Factory videos, like when I was like 19. I'm like, these 3 guys are going to make it. Because I've been obsessed with stand-up my whole life. And in my head, I was like, these 3 are going to make it.
Yeah.
Because they all had the thing. Because it.
Right.
When you see it,
Yes, you're just like, I know.
I'm like, these three have it, and since they've all done, Dalia's since gone to some questionable shit.
Of course, yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on
but
there.
I mean, like, the stand-up, it's not that bad if his special's still on Netflix.
Yeah,
that's how I knew it wasn't that bad, is when
Right.
I was on Netflix. I'm like, oh, it's still up.
Yeah, like, he's got, like, 2 of them now. 3 of them. He's got 2 specials? 3 specials?
He's got 3. He's got Man on Fire, Incorrigible, and his most recent one.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was.
Which is called, like, fucking Amazing or something. I don't know what the fuck it's
I really liked, I thought Man on Fire was good.
Yeah, I didn't like his most recent special.
No.
As every time I watch his more and more recent stuff, I feel like he's really in front of his audience.
Right.
Like, I feel like this material is in front of the most hardcore Dalia fans.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and what you see audiences, like, falling over in the crowds, and you're like, can we, like, really see who these people are? Because it's like, I'll watch it and I think he's funny, but I'm like, it's not that funny.
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing a dolphin thing. Wow, people are dying.
Like dying.
It's 3-minute bit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you can't make the same comparison 8 times in a row and then flop around on the ground, and then people are like, just 8 applause breaks in like 2 minutes for him. I mean, him being physical is great. Like, I that's why I like him.
He's very funny. Yeah, his physicality is actually at a high level. He's hilarious.
Oh yeah. So I applaud him there. But there's some bits I'm like, fuck, who's in the audience here?
Yeah, dude. But my favorite, one of my favorites. I grew up pure Chappelle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What about you? Like, what was your main guy that got you into this? I don't know if you can distill it down to one.
I don't know, man. Stand-up wise? Okay, well, stand-up, I was always, like, into, like, I grew up watching Comic View all the time.
Okay, all
on
right.
BT. Like, I don't know. That was the only comedy that was on my TV, and I remember watching it and just, like, being like, this shit. Like, I would be dying till, like, midnight with, what was the host that would always, oh, my God. You ever watch Comic View?
I didn't have cable.
Oh, you're like, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I was working 12 hours.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old.
Yeah, it must be nice, Mark. If I can watch a Comic View, 11 p.m. But
what? You never had Comic View eating ice cream at night?
Yeah.
In your PJs?
Yeah.
Well, you never grew up?
And then not going to school. Yeah. Comic View, like, because you would see a ton of comics all the time.
Yeah.
Robin Williams was one of the first specials I saw when it was like him live at New York.
Okay, yeah.
That special really just like hit me. Where I was like,
is it live in Boston or live in?
I think it was live on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Live on Broadway.
Okay,
yeah. So that one. But I was really more into the movies, like Jim Carrey and Mike Myers. For me, really just, I was like, this is like when I.
So you were more inspired by TV comedians?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And like I never thought I was going to do stand up. I went to Humber. I don't know. Did you ever go to Humber?
No, I didn't go, but the Humber comedy program.
Yeah.
It's
So
got a lot of alumni now.
Yeah. So I went there with the idea that I was going to do sketch and TV and that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
In my head, and then they force everybody to do all the disciplines, if you will. Yeah. So then when I did stand up, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know, and I felt like this was the thing, so I just kind of ran with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then I started to really like dive deep and go back into
the original like motivator.
Yeah.
Which is like make videos, right?
Yeah.
Because you do both well. So it's like, why do one? It's not about, you can't really do one thing anymore, right?
Yeah, no, you can't. You got to be, what do they call that in, where you're the
prolific?
triple threat.
Yeah.
What do they call that? I think that's in dance or
I guess
entertainment. You got to be all around.
Podcasting stuff, we're doing that here. Stand-up, we're doing that. And then I guess you need your content. There we go,
you need
right?
your content, yeah. You got to, like, those guys that can sing, too, like...
Yeah.
You know, like,
dude,
Big
like
Norm.
Big Norm?
Oh, my God.
When I see Big Norm, dude, it's like...
Guy's a chef.
Yeah.
The guy can sing. I'm like, fuck. I'm jealous.
Seeing Big Norm as a comedian, it's like when you're in the locker room and you see someone with a way bigger dick than you. Comedically, Big Norm is so funny. He dances amazing and he sings beautifully.
Yeah.
You realize, how do you can't compete against that.
What?
Comedic, he's so talented.
Dude, I
there's just, it's not like, I
crazy.
can't learn to sing and dance like that in my lifetime. So it's like,
and you know what it is? I don't know if you ever grew up with Filipinos back in the day, but there was like a street over from us, all of them Filipinos, and we would do big barbecues together and stuff, and like he embodies like 15 Filipinos in one guy. Like, because there would be one that could just rip it on the karaoke and just, you're a born singer. Then there's one that was like killer chef. Then there was a break dancer and
like 6 break dancers.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, buddy, this guy is like an all-star Filipino. Like, he is like The spokesperson.
I was actually supposed to have him. I'm gonna hit him up soon. I was gonna have him on the podcast a while ago, and then it didn't work scheduling wise. Did you ever hear about his story in fucking Taiwan?
No.
Oh, dude, it's got a crazy story about Taiwan.
Really?
Yeah, he's flying somewhere that's connecting through Taiwan, and he has an issue at the airport. They won't let him leave the country. He ends up living 7 months in Taiwan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Teaching fucking dancing or something like that.
I saw that, yeah.
I'm going to have him on.
Well, dude, I remember.
It's a crazy story.
Yeah, I remember him, like, posting that all the time. I'm like, buddy, are you just on vacation, like, always? Like, what's going on? He's like, no, man, I can't fucking leave. And he was like, I'm stuck here. And I was like, oh, my God.
That's I got to find out the full. He told me at one time with Mo Ismail in a parking lot. Yep. I'm like, you got to come on my podcast.
Yeah, man, he's
That's
great.
So funny. Yeah,
the triple threats. But I don't know who got me into stand-up. Like, sorry, what I was trying to say was like, once I got into the stand-up, then I kind of dived back into like seeing everybody. Like I watched and consumed a bunch of stand-up, and then the guys who really kind of like made me think. Obviously, like Seinfeld, I would always be like, this guy's writing. Like I don't think he performs with the shit. To be honest,
it's all the writing is doing 90% of the weight.
Yeah, his writing really blew me away, and obviously I know I shouldn't say it, but Louis C.K. to me was like,
oh, what do you mean you shouldn't say it?
I know people rip me apart when I say that.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. Let me say this, and I've said it again.
Yeah.
I saw Louis C.K.'s Toronto show live.
Same. I was
Wednesday night.
Yeah,
I was on that Wednesday night. It was the best show I've ever seen live.
It was the best thing I've ever fucking seen.
Tony Woods,
yeah.
Kevin Brennan,
yep.
And I forget who was the lady comic. I forget her name. She was emceeing it.
She's a Yucks comic.
Either way, the point is he got a standing ovation on the way in, on the way out, and is just such an incredibly hilarious, undeniable force of comedy. He fucked up. He jerks off in front of people.
Yeah,
he did it, and he did it 15 years ago, and he admitted it. And he goes, "My bad, I did that. I'm kind of a weird fucked up guy, like we all are."
And he opened the show for 15
I mean,
minutes.
I don't do that, but
no,
I'm sure if we found out all the comedians' kinks, that would not be at the top of the list.
No. And dude, I don't know. You saw that show? Like he did 15 minutes off the top about.
Oh yeah, he's like, even if they say yes, don't do it.
Still don't do it. He's like, no matter what, just still don't do it. Yeah.
I grew up pure Chappelle. I'm like, I want to like kids in the playground would call me Chappelle. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
I would
awesome,
just redo his specials, the Chappelle show skits and whatnot. Got into stand up. Really started like. I grew up mostly focusing on black comics. Yeah, Chris Rock. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh, Chris Rock. I think
Richard
my
Pryor,
favorite
Chris Rock, like Ari Spears, right?
Yeah.
Like focusing on them.
Great, man.
And then when I got into comedy, I started like dipping more into like watching white comic specials.
Right.
And seeing the amazing comedians out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man,
who does the clean comedy? I forget. He has a.
Brian
I walked
Regan.
on the moon. I walked on the moon.
Yeah.
Brian Regan.
Yeah.
The funniest motherfucker out there. One of
he's
the I walked on the moon special is hilarious. Cal O'Neill told me that.
Yeah.
But I'm just name dropping like crazy.
No, it's all good. Watch all these specials, people.
But yo, the best part recently, I was just in Montreal with my girl, and she doesn't know comedy. So I'm constantly watching. Oh, she loves stand up, but she doesn't know. Like I've watched like all the specials,
right?
And I'm like, oh, this is a good special to watch. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So I'm showing her all the comedians in pack. So I showed her all Louis C.K. 3 specials. For 3 specials in Montreal, Sebastian. And Sebastian nowadays is one of my favorite comics.
Oh, dude, he's a monster.
It's Sebastian, Louis, Sebastian Burr and Chappelle is kind of like what I look for as the North Star of comedy.
Yeah.
But dude, we watched 2 specials back to back. And not even Aren't You Embarrassed? We watched, and not even Stay Hungry. We watched
his old one.
Aren't you...
You're talking about the one where he's
drive me crazy.
Black
the
and
one
white.
in the white with the black
With
at the
the
top,
black,
and the other one where he's dressed like a waiter with all black.
Yes.
Both of those we watched.
That was his early ones.
This guy is just fucking like, and I've seen all of them already. But watching him in a collection, I'm like, fuck. Sebastian is so his physicality is like he's like way more personality than Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, for sure, dude.
But he still attracts the full range of crowd as Jerry Seinfeld. He still has like the kids to the grandparents at the show.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And he'll use a fuck like 3 times. He never used the fuck, but he'll drop it when he wants to use it.
Yeah, I love it.
It's just so physical. He's incredible.
I was going to say, have you ever seen Kevin James' special, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff?
No. I didn't even know Kevin James was a comedian.
First of all, neither did I. bro. You forget his new. He came out with a new special.
How old is this special? Like 90s?
It's like 99, 2000.
Yeah,
brother.
Yeah,
it is unbelievable. I love it because it's just such great, simple, clean, observational shit that you're like, I can't believe.
What's his style like?
It's very New York driven.
Yeah,
like he talks about
like quick.
Yeah, and he does talk about like what I mean, everything that's like muffins and pizza slices and this kind of shit. Like
a lot of food.
A lot of food. Yeah, but dude, like he has a joke about phone number rhythm where he's like, has someone ever call you and tell you their phone number or leave it on a voicemail where it's not the sequence of the rhythm where he's like, you always go 905 123 45 67
like 3145. So you're like, what the fuck?
He'll be like 3115 406 and you're like, what? Yeah, it's funny. And he goes off, he's like, I can't shimmy the one back in there, you already gave me the 6, whatever, right? Like, dude, and it's just so simple shit, dude, but it's so good, and it's just a good balance of like performance, expression, writing.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Don't sweat. I would recommend that to anybody.
Watch that tonight, man.
Yeah,
I love honestly, watching specials.
One of my favorite comedians, I always get shit for this too, is Katt Williams, man.
Dude, are you saying who gives you shit for that? I mean, more recently he's been fucked, but
I don't give a shit.
American Hustle, Pimp Chronicles Volume 1.
All of them, bro. Nobody makes me laugh to tears. I can watch his special with the one in green.
In green, yeah, the Pimp Chronicles Part 1.
I can watch a special 15 times in a row, and I'll die to tears every time.
Dude, again, I just told I grew up on this. Again, Katt Williams was the name I didn't, but I grew up on this. And I was showing her during COVID all the specials, and that, out of anything I showed her, and it made me realize it is laughs from the moment he enters till he exits. Comedians, they give you a lull in that middle to catch your breath and personality and stuff like that. He just goes, duh, duh, duh.
It's hard, man.
It's not, and it's got the most quotable. It's one of the most quotable shit. Nigga. Remember that shit I sold you last week, nigga? It's nothing, nigga. It's nothing. This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here.
Yeah. Dude, he kills me. I can't quote any of his stuff.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's great. I'd love to. I wish I could because it's so good. Man, he killed like where he's doing the fries.
Yeah.
Remember he's like, oh yeah, you can even be working at McDonald's.
And he's like doing drinks the Coke.
Hustling.
That's American Hustle, right?
Yeah.
Every day I'm hustling.
It's like you'll be salting your fries like a badass. Oh, dude, he kills me,
His
man.
physicality is so funny. I love that. And the hair stuff, he's always fixing his perm.
Yeah. Dude, he kills me.
I done got blood in my perm. He's like, I've been shot. Ain't no hoes. Ain't no music star. But he lost it. That's another example of Hollywood fucking up.
Well, yeah, I don't know. His last 2 specials, he'll open by being like, it's been a rough year. You guys know I fucked up.
Yeah.
And he'll talk about it, which is, to me, amazing, man. If these guys have some crazy drama that happens and then they come back and they make it funny and then they get the forgiveness of the audience and the people, it's like you can't get better than that at your craft, in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, he owned it, and he's not like still doing the same shit. He's definitely building material from actually what's happening to him in life.
Yeah,
because I think you guys said he got arrested 14 times or some, like, the police kept fucking with him.
Kid. You remember he fought that kid at that school?
That video still kills me to this day, because when he gets knocked down, he pretends like he chose to be down there.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
He lounges like, why are we, what? Like,
he was strung out or some shit, man. That was fucked. I'm like,
there was no other adults. That's the funny thing too.
What are you doing there?
Video correctly, yeah. Who are you there with? How are you here?
A 12-year-old knocked him out, man. Like,
there's pretty much a video. If you haven't seen it, Google Katt William getting knocked out. He's in a playground arguing with a child taller than him, and the kid just knocks him out, and Katt Williams falls to the ground, and then just kind of parades his legs out when he's down there, and leans on his elbow as if he chose to be down there. It's so funny. Like, what the fuck happened in your career? I want to see the steps,
dude. To me, that's the biggest. That would be my lowest point in my life. I don't know what he's gone through, but
you can't play that off.
If a 12-year-old beat the shit out of me at a park, a kid's park, and my kid wasn't with me, and I was just at a kid's park for whatever the fucking reason was, that's already a low point. If you're an adult at a kid's park alone, and then you're not on shrooms or some shit.
There was fucked up decisions made. You can't do that anymore.
You'll
get attacked. And he got knocked out. That's the funny thing. An adult didn't even need to come and
separate the shit.
The kid handled it.
Yeah, what are you
There's an adult fucked
about?
up, and I just knocked him out.
Yeah.
You knocked him out? Yeah, I think he was fucked up.
The kids are calling other adults like, somebody get this other adult out of here.
Yeah.
He fucked up.
He's been taken care of. He's been served.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah, man. Yo, we're coming out in at around an hour and 10, bro.
No way.
Time's been fucking flying, dog.
20 minutes.
My bad. I didn't get you in earlier. I know we talked about it way before I even moved it to my place. But like I said,
it was
Mondays
that car
at 11:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we had that one car ride, and then we were just like, man,
I'm like, bro, you're a cool...
we could talk for 5 hours. Yeah. Let's record this. You know what I mean?
That wasn't actually said, but that captures the vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But don't quote me on that.
Who was else in the car? Jordan Polichico.
Oh, Jordan's been on this.
Buddy, times, me and you, I think we just talked the entire time.
You know what Jordan's doing right now? He's selling windows and doors hard.
For sure he is.
And he's killing it, too. He's fucking always measuring windows and shit.
He's ones are insulated.
I'll put a triple pane in there. I'm like, damn, bro, using jargon and shit.
Yeah.
COVID, man.
COVID's making people do things you never thought they would do, man.
Just windows and doors. That's so funny. But, man, plug away. I always leave all the stuff in the description. Yeah. So don't even sweat it too much.
Follow me at Not Marc-Anthony on all my social platforms. I got a semi-food cannabis show, Buffet Buds. I've been just slacking on my album and podcast, but those are coming out soon. If you follow me, you'll see it. I make bread for people. I'll make you some sourdough. I don't know. That's about it, man.
I watched the videos. Remember at the beginning of COVID where you couldn't get flour, baking powder, and that shit? This motherfucker, that's
Oh, buddy, I fucking drove to Waterloo, man. I went to the Mennonite farms. I got all the flour in the world. I have so much flour right now. It's crazy.
You pitched in on building a barn really quick. All right, just to hold this up.
You guys need help real quick?
Yeah.
Throw in some butter. Pay me in butter.
Check this guy's shit out. Literally, the bread videos. They're hilarious. And they're high quality video, too.
Yeah, try, man.
That shit.
Try.
I'll plug it all in the description from my end. Just tell your friends about the immigrant section. Apparently TikTok may get canceled in the US. I mean, it's still good for the world, but we'll see what happens with all that. But check out Instagram, TikTok. You know me. You probably already follow me. And just come back to the immigrant section next week. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.